Hi, Cancer. Okay, welcome to the space if you're new here, and welcome back if you're returning. So, before we begin, I just want to thank you for your presence. Thank you for being such a good friend. You know, thank you for... You give a lot to the world. And you're really always there when someone needs something, you know. And that takes a lot. You know, it takes a lot of energy to give that much. So I thank you. I really do. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. Okay. You and Capricorn are also recorded on the same day. I feel like there's Leo energy connected to you. They're your opposite, but they spoke a lot of Leo energy, so I feel like that could be helpful. Capricorn is where you can find your footing to make sure that as you go along the path, like there's follow through, because there's a lot of blessings that come with that. Because you love to learn, right? So interested in so many different things. But you want that follow through because there will be more reward that way, right? So maybe it's kind of like one step at a time. Okay. Shall we jump in? Let's do it. Actually, one card showed itself. It's the Four of Swords. You actually have the Six of Swords on the bottom, too. So, hi, Kit Kat. So remember, with all you give, you want to make sure that you rest, too. Okay? Sleep, you rule the moon. I'm also recording this in Scorpio time, and you astrologically you're kind of in control of Scorpio energy. Like how you feel is how Cancerian energy feels collectively is gonna, and in general, it pulls that Scorpio energy. So thank you for wherever you have, done great work in yourself. And if you'd like to do shadow work specifically in this time, or inner child work, that can also be very promising. But remember, whenever you're, again, giving to a space a lot, you want to always come back and replenish. Okay? Oh. Who is your first grade teacher? There's something about your first grade teacher, or something in first grade. And also, there's something about birds that are helpful. Birds and flowers. Birds and flowers. This seems more like a bigger bird than a songbird. Although the crow does sing once in a while when it's in love. Okay. Cancer. Let's see. Cool. I heard no one can take anything from you. One. Capricorn had justice also. 1, 2, and the Empress. 3. So you have 3 majors here. And it goes back to the Empress, which is actually in the center of this reading. She looks over at the High Priestess. Give me just a second. Fire, fire, fire. Air, air, earth. So 1 pentacle, 2 swords, 3 wands. 1, 2, 3. You've worked your way up to equality. Like there's like a balance, right? This Justice card. So there's one key and two boxes. I suppose this key could open both boxes, but you'd have to try, right? You'd have to try. Okay, when you can't trust yourself, when you're if you happen to question yourself too much, you need sleep. You need quiet. You have to shut everything, kind of like shut everything down, you know? Maybe this is electronics, your phone, the doors, the shades, everything. Like make it really quiet. Make sure that you, whenever you don't know, like if you couldn't feel it, where you're like, where does this go? Where does this go? If there's too much of a question, just put it all down. I feel like Aries talked about this recently. When it's too much, just put it all down. Then if you give it a moment of silence, you may be able to distinguish, but because someone's trying to figure out how to trust what they've been picking up on, you know, not exactly trying to figure out the whole meaning of it, like, oh, interesting energy, Cancer. Okay, so if you're uncertain, sleep on it. If you're uncertain, sleep on it. Okay? This could be 2 weeks. There could be 2 days, 2 weeks. It could even be 2 months, although I feel like it's a little faster here. Maybe you want to just practice your intuition during this time frame also. Perhaps even using dream time, right? Do you write down your dreams, or like, do you remember them? Realize you heal a lot in that space too, being ruled by the moon. Okay. Let's see, Ketzer. There's something like, there's no way someone can pull. How do I see this? What's that about? Okay, you have such a powerful knowing right now. Okay? Do you need to smile a little bit more? Perhaps. Maybe something's real serious. But it's almost like someone's trying to figure something out. It's like waiting on clarity, or oh, I see. There's a whole triangle of this. It's kind of like a T-square. I see. Again, there's a double emphasis. If you can't figure out how to, if something physically that you're doing is again, you're like, does this go here? Does this go there? Where does this go? You're trying to do something physically, you keep hitting a wall. then take a minute. If you get into your head and you're trying to figure that out, it's like more of a mental puzzle, same message. And because the Empress is in the center, Empress is about self-respect, self-esteem. She takes care of her. She takes care of herself. The moon is exalted in Taurus, right? So to have that really powerful intuition, one needs to replenish, right? The Empress represents growth, slow growth. So you also want to trust and believe that how strong you are, okay? And know what you can and cannot handle energetically, mentally. Like, remember, you're kind of pulling all the energy during this season or at least when I'm recording this, which actually goes to show that you got a good handle on it. So you're having a conversation with your 7th, 8th house. What is this talking about? Well, I guess this is other people and relationships, right? That which is not anymore. I see it's a fine-tuning time. If there's something that you don't trust, what's that card about? Emperor. Do you trust men? Do you trust men? Do you trust yourself? I guess that's more of the, yeah, that's more of it. Because what is a man? It's masculine energy. It's like your own action or your own ability, again, to do. Your ability to feel good about what you know in your heart, right? I actually see a lot of healing and balancing also. I see this T again. Virgo had this a long time ago, like 2017. I'm saying that year. But maybe there's like T words or T names or something like this. But the point is they're also healing through the family here. There could also be like overhauls with home. I see it's best to look at that and to interact with that as if it is a blessing, whatever's happening there, right? Whatever the changes are that are happening within home, like rejoice with that, right? I keep going down into this Four of Swords, so I would also say that if you have been working a lot, whether this is internally or externally, although you don't, well, you do have 10 of Pentacles here. Internally or externally, again, remember rest. I feel like maybe you're working out the balance of that a little bit better. This will keep your mind in order, right? It will keep you focused on the goal, right? Having that follow through so that you also have the energy for it. Okay, there's something that happened that scared you. Like, for instance, something happened at some point in time where, even though you're so intuitive, right, and you have this awareness, you've probably had it your whole life, right? But there was like a time, or maybe even, I see one specific situation here, that it's like you couldn't pick up on it when it did happen. I feel like there's more past energy. It's like you couldn't pick up on it when it happened, and it scared you. And there's still like, but whatever that is, whatever that fear is, and this has to do with protection of yourself, right? That's also balancing out. You know, just because you couldn't pick up on something at some point, doesn't mean that you couldn't do something at some point, doesn't mean that you're not able or capable. Because the abilities that you have, the talents that you have, the magic that's within you, or that comes through your family, or that you learn through an enemy, like more of your own, again, it's practice, right, to get to these points. But again, I see some sort of fear being alleviated. And you're starting to trust yourself more, which is really good. Now, High Priestess usually speaks of where there's like a really specific message that's just for you. And I feel like this could very much come through your dream time if you want. Because maybe a part of these two boxes is like, maybe the key does go to both, but it's like one of them you lock, and when you do, or maybe you need to open one because the key only goes to one. Oh, I see. The key only goes to one. You open the box. There's another key in there. You take the key out. You lock that box. Use the other key to open it. And so I guess you gain a new tool also. You gain a new ability to open something. Yeah. Awesome. Awesome. I'd say you're probably softer in your communication. The more vegetables you eat. The more vegetables you eat. I heard the less meat. Maybe it's just even just during this time. Yeah, Emperor and the Magician. You know, sometimes it's interesting. You know, think about it. It's there's a lot of power, what we take in and how we use that energy, right? There's also something about somebody's grandmother. But maybe this is like an ancestor. That relates to whatever your 12th house is. There's an ancestor that's that sign, or something like that. Could also be a Gemini. And something maybe about the number 9. I love you, Cancer. It's just 2020. Oh, hindsight is 2020. I feel like that's a good title. Hold on. Hindsight is 2020. I heard time to alleviate fear, right? Okay. What are your, what's your outlook on how you want to be? What's your perspective or outlook on how you'd like your communication to be? What's your outlook on your long-term relationships? It could be anything you're really dedicated to in ways of your one-on-one partnerships. I also see some sort of like opening or outlook as well, having to do with maybe health or diet. When do tulips bloom? Do you know when tulips bloom, Cancer? What's your favorite flower? I see great success here. I see it again. Great success in alleviating or relinquishing fear. It creates some sort of comfort, some sort of trust. Again, maybe it's just trusting yourself. You know, again, we all make mistakes sometimes, right? Ace of Swords, yes. Two of Cups, yes. And life is humbling, you know. But I guess what it does sometimes, say when the intuition has been off, right? Again, you didn't pick up on something even though it was like so obvious, right? Because, and hindsight's 2020, right? And after the fact, you'd be like, oh, wow, I can't believe I didn't see that, or whatever it is. I guess this is a way to sort of keep the tool of intuition sort of sharp, right? If you're always right on, then I guess the ego will get too big, and then it really wouldn't be emotional. It would be intellectual, right? So not being perfect is totally okay. Not being perfect is totally okay. Excuse me. I see again, I feel like nothing can be taken from you. Just a second. I do feel like there's a male that is passed on, or something like that. Remember, you can also talk to your ancestors, you know? That's a part of you. That's a part of you're connected to that line, you know? Yeah. Like you have support. This Six of Swords keeps coming up too. This is about travel. It's about healing. It can represent new places, like even you can even go to a whole new world that way. So maybe what are your future plans also? And maybe one of those alleviating fears is kind of like, if you have any place where you're like, well, I would like to do that, but I can't because XYZ. I see Ganesha and like and someone's left knee. This goes back into that Capricorn energy of like believing, right? I do feel like something's like awakening or being made aware, being understood in this time frame. There's Libra, Scorpio, there's Spirit right there. Six of Swords to me is also, and there's the star, beautiful. Six of Swords to me also is like positive, where you can think differently, have a smoother mental space about karma or about what has happened, like the battles you've had to endure, right? And then feeling, again, confident here. We can't always win all the way through. We're not going to win every single battle, but where you are now is what's really important, because actually the only negative card here is this one there, which does keep drawing my attention a little bit, because it's the one thing, you know, one of these things is not like the other one. One of these things is not the same, right? But that's like a past failure. It's not, and now there's a different feeling around it, right? It's like a different, do you have any musicians in your family? Do you have any like glassware or dishes that are also from your family? Maybe a piece of jewelry for some of you. There's something like that. Not that you need those things to be able to connect to the past, like this physical, but if you have them, maybe be aware of them and understand that those also hold a lot of power. For some of you, it would be where it would be helpful to, again, relinquish that, because maybe there's fear. Sometimes objects, right? Scorpio taught me this. It's like objects, the Taurus aspect, hold energy, right? It holds energy, and sometimes it can be cleaned. Sometimes it just needs to be, that in and of itself needs to be removed, right? Interesting. Because remember, you don't need the physical thing to have the emotional connection. Do you know what I mean? No, there's Spirit. King of Cups, King of Swords, Queen of Wands. Powerful. I would say some of you could also be thinking about your career as well, like about work, about you know, maybe you want to just think about what you love to do. Right? What inspires you? What inspires you to want to be, like, take steps to be, what inspires you, Cancer? Remember, music is really powerful. But you don't need any physical thing to prove that you're powerful, you know? And I do see Capricorn's reading could be very, very helpful, okay? And if you are worried about anything, I want you to realize that you're on the tail end of that, okay? You're on the tail end of that. And again, in this time, allow your guard, right? Because the High Priestess and the Empress, these don't have like a guard. You know what I mean? They're really soft. They're not like they're open. Right, that's how they're able to, that's the feminine nature, the lunar nature is to receive. You have to be open. You can't wear all the armor, right? Got to be wide open about it. Hopeful for the future, right? And remember, what we think about, and I know it's hard, but what we think about sometimes can become our reality. So again, if you do get in your head too much, then keep your hands busy, right? If that doesn't work and you're still in your head, then you probably need to rest, or you need to take care of yourself in a fundamental way. Again, food, sleep, you know, hydration, maybe some like you need probably like nutrients, right? Something like fruits and vegetables, greens. I see fish and birds also, but I don't see red meat. I feel like your iron is good right now, which is good. This goes to show your own power too in this time. Yes. So remember, right now you have a physical blessing in this at this time. It's like a magic seed, right? But it's sort of like with these Two of Swords, it's like, where do you want to plant it? Well, you know, it depends where you are. Like, if it's the right season, if you want to wait a while before you plant, you know, where you're going to plant, what you're going to grow that next to. There's a lot of foresight, again, follow through with something. But with the Three of Wands here, you want to make sure that you're looking at this in a positive way. You know, putting your energy out there, be like, okay, maybe it is a couple months from now, or a couple, whatever it is. Take a wide outlook, feel into it, think about it, and then kind of make a plan and then follow through with it. Because maybe you got to trust yourself too, right? Because you won't be able to know all the answers before you do everything. No. Okay. Well, take care. I hope this was helpful. I really, really do. I love that you have the Justice card there. The Empress is really powerful too. High Priestess, super powerful. This is all feminine energy. Masculine and feminine energy. So that's pretty rad. It's a good internal understanding with powerful the moon. Powerful intuition there, right? Really good discernment with all of those. Six of Wands and the moon. I would say this is maybe this is some good karma with the moon, right? Yeah. Yep. Okay. Remember, last month was soft love, right? And even though you have all that fire, there's a balance there, which is really beautiful. So make sure you're finding comfort in things, you know, in a healthy way too. Okay. I'll talk to you next time. Peace out.